Hello everyone, this side Dr. Sanjay Kumar. I am the assistant professor at WBNS Kolkata. Today we will be talking about excise duty evasion in India. First, learning outcome. To understand the meaning and concept of excise duty and evasion. Second one, to understand the constitutional and legislative framework of excise duty in India. Next one, to know the impact of excise duty evasion. Next, to have very comprehensive understanding of causes and modes of excise duty evasion. Next, to find out the way forward to contain excise duty evasion. Now, introduction. The tax evasion is a universal phenomena. However, it is of particular concern to policymakers in developing countries like India. The pressing need for mobilizing savings and attempt to combine multiple objectives in the tax laws have enormously complicated the tax structure. The resulting high and differential tax rates with varied tax incentives in the form of various exemptions and deductions open up numerous avenues of evasion. The structure of tax is determined by inter alia the objectives of tax policy, the objectives of making keep pace with inflation has resulted in the levy of ad valorem tax as against the specific duty. The intention of to encourage the labor intensive sector has resulted into discriminatory tax treatment, the rates of tax varying inversely with labor intensity. The objectives of vertical equity too has resulted into differential tax treatments. When a tax is made to serve these objectives, the structure of tax gets complicated. Consequently, the avenues of evasion and avoidance open up and attempt to block these through further amendments complicate the structure further. Countering evasion of excise duty with suitable policy measures necessitates the understanding of the reasons and modus operandi of evasion. Constitutional and legislative framework. India being a federal country, power and functions including taxes has been divided between union and states. The power to tax is essentially a legislative power vested in the union and the states. As no tax can be levied or collected except by authority of law, the Constitution of India has empowered both union and states to levy and collect the excise duty. Article 246 read with entry 84 list 1 schedule 7 empower the union to levy excise duty on all excisable goods except alcoholic liquor for human consumption, opium, Indian hemp and narcotic drugs produced or manufactured in India. The states are empowered to levy and collect the excise duty on alcoholic liquor for human consumption, opium, Indian hemp and narcotic drugs produced or manufactured in the states. Thus, the power of parliament to levy excise duty is wider in comparison to states. In India, the states have enacted the excise laws to levy and collect excise duty on alcoholic liquor for human consumption, opium, Indian hemp and narcotics drugs produced or manufactured in their jurisdiction. The union has enacted the Central Excise Act 1944 and Central Excise Tariff Act 1985 to levy and collect the duty on manufacturing or production of specified goods in India. The Central Excise Act 1944 lays down the basic framework for levy and excise duty, and the Act 1985 lays down the classification of goods and prescribed the excise duty rates. Central excise duty is also known as Central Value Added Tax, in brief CENVAT, as the concept of value added tax has been introduced in the levy and collection of central excise duty. Now, we will talking about meaning and concept of excise duty. Excise duty is an indirect tax being levied on manufacturing or production of goods in India. Under excise duty, what is being taxed is the activity of manufacturing or production of goods, which makes its different from customs duty, sales tax, entry tax, etc. Thus, essential things for levy of excise duty is the economic activity resulting in manufacturing or production of goods. The term manufacturing has been defined by the Supreme Court in Union of India versus Delhi Cloth and General Mills, wherein the Supreme Court categorically held that manufacture implies a change, but every change is not manufacture, and yet every change of an article is the result of treatment, labor and manipulations, but something more is necessary and there must be transformation. That is, a new and different article must emerge having distinctive name, character or use. Thus, manufacturing means carrying out certain processes on certain inputs mechanically or manually, which results in creation of new product with a different name, character or use. Mere change can't be treated as manufacture. The excise duty has to be distinguished from the other taxes which are being imposed in relation to goods like customs, sales tax, entry tax, etc. Custom duty essentially is a border tax on export or import of goods, sales tax is a tax on sale of goods, entry tax is a tax on entry of goods for sale, consumption or use in the local jurisdiction. What is essential to make a difference between various kinds of indirect taxes imposed in relation to goods is to know actually what activity in relation to goods is being taxed. The central excise law in India is administered by Central Board of Excise and Customs. The body consists of commissioner and field officers with the conduct in depth analysis and scrutiny. Under the Central Board of Excise and Custom, the Directorate General of Central Excise Intelligence is established with a view to frustrate and deter the attempts of tax evaders to evade central excise duty. Now, various types of central excise duties. First of all, basic excise duty. This is the most common type of excise duty levied under section 31A of the Central Excise Act 1944. It is levied at the rates prescribed in the first schedule to Central Excise Tariff Act 1985. Now, next special excise duty. This is an additional excise duty levied under section 31B of Central Excise Act 1944 on the excisable goods specified in the second schedule of Central Excise Tariff Act 1985. However, with effect from March 2006, all goods have been exempted from special excise duty. Additional duty of excise, it is the levied as surcharge upon pan masala and certain tobacco products, White section 85 of the Finance Act 2005. Other additional excise duties such as on textile and textile articles and goods of special importance have been exempted with effect from 2004 and 2006 respectively. Next, National Calamity Contingent Duty, that is NCCD. NCCD was levied on pan masala and certain specified tobacco products by the Finance Act 2001. The Finance Act 2003 extended this levy to polyester, filament yarn, motor car, two-wheeler and multi-utility vehicle and crude petroleum oil. Education cess. Education cess is levied at 2% on the aggregate of duties of excise, and secondary and higher education cess is levied at the 1% on the aggregate of duty of excise. Clean energy cess, it is levied on coal with effect from July 2010. It is governed by the Central Excise Act 1944. Excise duty evasion and its impact. Tax is considered as the main income of the government and is very important for the country's economy and growth. But due to people evading taxes, it is affecting the government's ability to pay and work for the welfare of the people. It also has a direct impact on the government's revenue and thereby threatening the inflation, increasing the inflation rates. Tax evasion and thereby establishment of parallel economy has been creating the serious impacts on the social economic system of the country. Due to tax evasion, the government is forced to increase the rates of tax every assessment year for increasing its revenue, which results in increased tax burden on the honest taxpayers. It leads to poor standards of living of the rural masses and the people, as the government cannot undertake welfare measures at the national level. All of this increases the level of corruption and brings disequilibrium in the economic conditions of the country, resulting in the rich becoming richer and the poor becoming poorer. Now, we are talking about reasons for tax evasion. The person on the incidence of the tax decides whether to pay or not to pay depending on upon the changes in the level of income, tax structure, the tax rates, the probability of detection of evasion and the penalty rates would be imposed if caught. Thus, the increase of tax rates increases in the risk aversion, changes of getting away with evasion, etc. Increase the evasion as the probable gains outweigh the probable losses. The following are the reasons for evasion. Uniform application of taxes. Unlike direct taxes, indirect taxes are applied across the board without considering the financial ability of the taxpayer. The bhikhari and the big salt pays the same tax on salt to camphor irrespective of their earnings. This regressive nature of indirect taxes is a big incentive for evasion. The proud owner of the Mercedes Benz might not feel the pinch of rupees 9 rupees 48 per litre basic excise duty, but for a common Kalipili taxi driver who earns a basic of rupees 22, that is a big burden. The burden of excise duty is not only on the rates, but the modes of imposition which places unequals on the same platform and foil the load equity on the rich and the poor people. Ineffective enforcement of laws. It is found that more often than not, the enforcement of laws that regulate excise duty are not very efficiently enforced. Due to lukewarm enforcement of such provisions as well as abundant exploitation of the loopholes and the gaps in these creates no deterrence and makes the tax evasion fearless, and thereby creation of parallel economy has become very easy. The lack of cooperation between the departments also adds to the ineffective enforcement, causing a rise in evasion cases. Unnecessary classification of goods. The present tax regime in India classifies goods into several categories for the purpose of taxation, and this classification system involving too many intricacies and nuances oversteps the realm of necessity. For example, car's length less than 4000 mm imposed with an excise duty of 12.5%, while the excise duty imposed on car's length below 4000 mm, but engine capacity less than 1500 cc is 24%. Such classification might result in similar products belonging to different tax categories, having drastic differences in the tax rates. This imbalance leads to evasion of tax by various manufacturers who tries to accommodate their goods in a category of lower tax incidence. Next, complexity of excise laws. Einstein is deemed to have remarked that tax is a question too difficult for a mathematician and should be asked from a philosopher. The sheer complexity of the laws and the series of changes brought through amendments, circulars and notifications make it a near impossibility to be certain of legal regime. In addition to the acts, the Central Board of Excise and Customs, that is CBEC, comes out with innumerable circulars and notifications every year. The voluminous regulations to be complied with tempts the manufacturer to find a shorter route by evasion as opposed to complying with the zillion notifications and circulars. Prescribed input output ratio. The CBEC cannot wait like a cozy cat waiting at the kitchen door to see what all are being removed from the factory. The CBEC relies on certain mathematical equation to calculate the volume of goods manufactured. These statutory input output ratio do not paint the correct picture always. The output is dependent not only on input volumes in all industries. To illustrate this multivariable scenario, sugar industry can be looked into. The sugar output is heavily dependent not only on the quantity of the sugar cane, but also on the quality of the sugar cane. The presence of several factors impacting output makes it impracticable to mathematically calculate the exact input to output of ratio any manufacturer on the basis of input volumes alone. This is one more reason why manufacturers chooses the easy way out and manipulate the input and output ratios and thereby evading the taxes. Fixation of input price. The central and the state governments at times comes with minimum support price and minimum purchase price for several goods, with agriculture products being the beneficiaries of such measure. Most of the time, if an agriculture product is charged with a purchase price which is rarely revised as per market forces, the manufacturer who uses it as his raw material is hung out to dry once the price of finished product falls. The government, with its zeal for farmer protection, at times if guilty of prescribed purchase price which are higher than the market prices. The scenario of high input price remaining insulated from the market courtesy, the purchase price while the output prices are left to the mercy of market forces causes evasion as the manufacturer tries to compensate himself by holding down taxes. The manufacturer, to set off the rise in input cost due to support price, will attempt to understate the inputs and pull off any such measure which helps him in evading the incidence of duty. To illustrate, take the sugar industry where the basic raw material is the sugar cane. The state governments prescribe the minimum purchase price for the procurement of sugar cane by the mill owners, not based on market factors, but mere on political considerations, whereas the prices of output, that is sugar, is determined by the market forces. This results into loss to the mill owner. Therefore, to minimize losses or to maximize profit, the mill owner manipulates the input itself, leading to lower production figures, multiple taxes and laws. Tax evasion is composite phenomena rather than being rate specific or law specific. Not to avoid excise duty would mean to proceed to record input and output property, which is in turn would mean more sales and being paid, and the incentives increases also follows. The evasion of excise duty gives returns not only in avoiding payment of excise duty, but also of income tax and sales tax and other taxes which are being imposed in relation to such goods. The higher rate any of the downstream taxes promotes evasion of an upstream tax. So, preempt the incidence of such downstream taxes. Existence of unorganized sector. The evasion of duty in organized sectors can be tackled and trackled through the state machinery due to the systematic organizations being present. The unorganized sector, on the other hand, lacks the transparency and the lack of proper system being in the place. Opens up the possibility of evasion being conducted on a larger scale. Lack of deterrent penalties. The Central Excise Act 1944 under section 9 of the chapter 2nd deals with offences and penalties, but these statutory provisions are not efficient as the number of evasion is still rising on the very large scale. The entire point of having the penal provisions is to discourage the non-compliance from being conducted, but in reality it is an entirely different picture. The act provides for maximum punishment, but does not provide for a minimum punishment, which is very necessary to make the provisions more stringent and efficient. Apart from lack of deterrence in the provisions, the implementation of the same is not proper by the concerned authorities. The entire system needs to be more deterrent regarding the same to have tackled the problem at hand. Now, we are talking about modes of evasion. The ingenuine traders have evolved many methods for the evasion of excise duty amount, the causes of the duty evasion. Probability of detection has the unique distinctions of having a bearing on the modes of evasion. The evader decodes on the mode of evasion on the basis of the risk of the detection. A higher chances of detection of one mode like misclassification on the promotes the other modes of evasion like understatement and undervaluation. The increases of detection of common modes causes new and ingenious methods being evolved for evading taxes. Another factor that needs consideration for mode of evasion is the tax structure. The modes of imposition of tax is a huge factor in causing or rooting out the evasion. The leaning towards the ad valorem duty to keep pace with inflation opens up multiple avenues for evasion through misclassification, understatement, undervaluation, etc. The choice of a specific duty ensures a constant revenue and simple enforcement, but affects the market detrimentally if rates are in incentive to change of market trends. Classification favoring the welfare objective is capable of causing large scale misclassification. The common modes that are widely employed by evaders the duty are underreporting, misclassification, undervaluation. Underreporting. Underreporting is a commonly used method to evade both direct and indirect taxes. In case of income tax, the income reported will be lesser than the actual income, while in case of excise duty, underreporting is employed at the production stage for the raw material or at the final stage for the output or by overstating wastage in certain industries. Underreportation may be through suppression of production, suppression of output over reporting of wastage. By underreporting the volume subject to taxation, the manufacturer pockets the tax to be paid on the production not shown on the accounts. To have an understanding of the mechanism of underreporting, the example of a sugar factory is ideal. The owner of a sugar factory can employ underreporting by suppressing the quantity of the sugar cane actual consume, which he can use to show diminished output to evade duty. Alternatively, he can overstate the wastage or understate the amount of sugar obtained per quintal of sugar cane to show a diminished output at the final product stage. Misclassification. Misclassification is a very common way of minimizing the tax liability. in commodity taxes by exploiting the different rates being prescribed for different products. The manufacturer who makes multiple products can classify his products under the category with lesser tax burden to evade paying the statutory rates. The incentives for evasion by misclassification raises manifold if the prescribed rates are high for similar but differently classified goods. Misclassification has never failed to produce interesting cases. The curious case of classification of coconut was dealt by the Honorable Madras High Court in the case of Deputy Commissioner of Commercial Taxes versus Hamid Trading Company. The defendant company was seeking to take advantage of the favorable tax rates prescribed for fresh fruits and vegetables as opposed to the higher rates of oil seeds by classifying coconuts as a fruit or a vegetable. The Madras High Court inter alia relied on English judgment, His Majesty the King versus Planters Nut and Choice Company Limited, approved by the Supreme Court, to conclude that coconut is neither a fresh fruit nor a vegetable, but an oil seed. The irony is this mode of evasion is a product of a complex tax system classification promoted by our taxation system petrified in the past. Undervaluation. Valuation of goods in simplest terms is the basis of calculation of duty payable. The ingenious tax evaders clarify under manipulation as a tool for tax evasion, legislations and regulations. Overcrowding the sphere of customs valuation. The undervaluation is mostly found hand in glove with the sibling misclassification. On the other hand, combination is the large scale evasion. When a dealer buys goods of two different prices, the volume of the purchases of the goods of the lower price may be overstated and that of high prices. Corresponding by understand this method is called tie-in sales. The common tactics employed includes appointing sales agents of one's choice and showing the sales price at a lower figure than the price at which it is actually sold, so part of price as a post manufacturing expenses and reduce the excisable value. Thereby, the taxpayers also resorts for the other methods of evasion, which includes practices like manipulation of accounts, duplication of gate pass books, transportation of more than one consignment on a single gate pass, misdeclaration of composition of excisable goods, understatement of raw material stock position, overstatement of wastages damage during production, inflation of weight of containers or packing materials, damage during storage and transit, and even manipulation of treasury challans, etc. Overstatement of waste and damage during production. Overstating of wastage and damage during production is a common mode of evasion. The manufacturer records proper input, but exaggerates the figures of wastage and damage so as to hold down the output volume. The prescriptions of input output ratio is a countervailing measures which employs mixed success against these modes of evasion. Exploitation of self removal system. Rule 11 of Central Excise Rules 2002 provides that no excisable goods shall be removed from a factory or a warehouse except under an invoice signed by the owner of the factory or his authorized agent. The replacement of gate pass system for the present excise invoice system places emphasis on the honest practices of individuals manufacturer. Manufacturer can always manipulate or abuse the invoice system by issuing single bill for multiple consignments, duplication, etc. Now, we are talking about suggestions for improvement in the tax compliance. The evasion of all indirect taxes including excise duty is linked with the regressive nature of such taxes. As the burden falls uniformly on all, the government with the welfare motive has tried to exempt certain essential goods from the purview of excise duty, so to avoid the common man from being made to pay taxes on goods. Such equity oriented measures have not rooted out the evil of excise duty evasion. There needs a system overhaul to correct the system errors that plagues the present excise duty regime. The goods and the GST regime is definitely the need of the hour, and it is hoped that it will bring the much needed fresh blood that rejuvenate and revamp the indirect tax system. If implemented properly, might take India to a new tomorrow where the goods are cheaper due to removal of cascading effect and better implementation regime. GST can be the one-stop solution for many and ill of present regime. Certain suggestions that can curb the evil of evasion are as follows. Simplification of the tax laws. The present system of basic excise duty, special duty, additional duty and various cess is one huge hodgepodge. The large number of duties itself is a problem that needs to be addressed to prevent the evasion of duty. Multiple taxes being imposed on the same product at different stages needs to be done away with, as the present system of tax on manufacturer, tax on sales, entry tax, etc. make the system too complex. Deterrent penalty. Law, according to Austin, is the command of sovereign with a sanction behind it. The sanctions under the current tax laws are not having enough the expected deterrence to ensure compliance. Though the legislature has made provision for arrest and prosecution, the lack of prescription of minimum sentence makes them a little used remedy. The magnitude of fines needs to be several times the duty evaded, so that the possible loss outweigh the possible gains. Promotion of awareness, it is very important. Awareness of a law leads to compliance with the tax laws. Tax laws belong to the part of public mind which is considered murky and unclear. A genuine lack of awareness about the taxation and tax laws prevail in the country. Grassroots level awareness programs which familiarize the common citizens with the working of the tax machinery can create a better social perception about the taxes that are levied on them. Better enforcement of existing laws. In India, we have a large number of laws which aid to prevent evasion. The sheer number of legislations have not brought the evasion to the extent that they were expected to. Despite having so many laws, the mischief sought to be remedied is still persistent due to poor enforcement regime. And iron, first out, enforcement of existing laws can ensure that the legislative intention behind the current laws is realized. In the end, as Winston Churchill said, we cannot tax ourselves to progress, but we can use taxes to lead ourselves to progress if all of us pay our due share of taxes. As the finance minister pointed out, the moderate tax rates and evasion cannot coexist. When we evade taxes, it creates anomalies in tax structures, reduction of heads of classification. The concepts of a welfare states lending a helping hand to the less privileged is a theme that has found its way to the tax regime through classification of goods. The government favorably classifies labor intensive industries so that more job opportunities are created, but the cost of equity oriented approach is large scale evasion, a drop in revenue. The current system of intricate classification has to give way so as to bring in the much needed simplicity, removal of the system of exemptions and adoption of zero rated goods. The idea behind the system of exemptions is the waiver of tax on the certain goods so that the poor will not feel the pinch of regressive nature of indirect taxes. The inherent flaws in this system is that the exemptions apply to the final product and not to the stages a priori. Due to this structural defect, the product is not really exempt from taxes, as the taxes on the inputs are handed down to the end consumers. The removal of exemptions in favor of zero rated goods would give us the benefits that forweight the exemptions benefits without the defects of exemption, preferring specific duty over ad valorem duty. The Indian trend is the rely on the ad valorem duty as a multifaceted tools for revenue generation and inflation regulation. The reliance of ad valorem duty opens multiple modes of evasion, unlike a specific duty which provides less scope for evasion. A robust system of specific duty which is sensitive to the market forces can go a long way in controlling evasion. Use of information technology. The evasion of duty can be curtailed to a great extent if the information technology is more extensively employed in the administration of excise duty. The present manual element in invoicing system etc. opens avenues for evasion. Development of e-infrastructure can easily bring in efficiency and prevent evasion. The present system has many a fault and it is admitted to be an imperfect system. Major systematic information in the indirect tax system is sought to be introduced in the country through GST. The interlocked billing to reform the input tax credit claim and adjustment system and the zero rating system to redefine the exemption. Extensive use of information technology, single tax are all steps in the right directions, unlike income tax evasion which is difficult to trace and detect due to sheer numbers. Evasion of excise duty is more detectable as the products must reach market at the some point of time. What we need is a spirited individual who are willing to pay their taxes and spirited officials who are keen to prevent evasion. The changes through GST or any other system for that matter will be of no avail if the individual is just unwilling to pay the taxes. The way to a bright future is to pay our taxes totally so that today so that the nation can afford to give us a low tax tomorrow. Thank you very much for patience hearing.